And now.
That's the middle shot. He scores! Flipped it off to Wyatt Matthews. He's in! Eagles take the lead!
The Philadelphia Phillies are 2008 World Champions of Baseball.
Welcome to Sports Talk, the number one sports podcast in the Philadelphia area. Come on out here, Brodes. This episode of Sports Talk with Brodes is brought to you by Sports R Philly. Sports R Philly contains a wide variety of great blogs across the Philadelphia area. You can follow them on Twitter at Sports R Philly or check out their website, www.sportsrphilly.com.
What is going on, everyone? This is Sports Talk with Brodes, episode 20. We are 20 episodes in, and on top of that, we now have 700 downloads on my podcast. That is truly amazing. I appreciate everybody and the support they have given me. We will continue to do this until we make it. With that being said, you can follow me on Twitter at sportsandbrodes. You can use your voice recording app to send me a sports point and send it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. Now, I just recorded a whole 5-minute opening segment, and it was solid, but you know what? I forgot to turn the mic on, so now I have to redo it. With that being said, here we go. Hopefully I remember what I already said. The Giants, Monday Night Football, they looked bad. They looked really bad. I stated they were going to win the division. They had the best receiving core. Brandon Marshall can't even catch a ball. Now, I kind of want to look back and have a future episode on what I stated before the season even started on where squads start and where they're going to finish, but I don't want to be embarrassed. I'm sure I was wrong on a lot of things. Now, I know the Giants aren't dead yet. They have talent. They have what it takes. They're just not meshing right now. Their head coach called out their quarterback, Eli Manning. We got to have better quarterback play. Veteran guy. Can he put it together? Will he be able to figure it out? They're having problems snapping the football. Ben McAdoo did not like that. I can't believe they're getting embarrassed like that, though. This is a tough start for the Giants. For being an 0-2 team, they have the best chance to make the playoffs. That's what the stats show. That's what I'm hearing. Now, I think they will be able to flip it around a little bit. But they're running out of time. This game here in Philadelphia is huge. 1 o'clock at the Link. Now, I looked up tickets on StubHub. A little bit more expensive than I thought. I might start a GoFundMe page. I got to start shooting around some text messages because I got to get there. I got to get there. So, looking at the NFC right now, where we are standing, headed into Week 3. I think the Eagles are the best team in the division. Now, I'm not being biased. The way the Giants look, the way the Redskins are the Redskins, and the way Dallas looked against the Broncos, you're telling me the Eagles don't look like the best team in the division? Come on. They do. Their defensive line, their quarterback play, all we got to do is figure out this running game. Run the football. Run the football. I don't care if it's not working as you plan. The more you run it, it'll work its way out, if that makes sense. Keep running the football. We will find the gaps. You can't be throwing the ball 45 times. You're running at 15. You can't do it. LeGarrette Blount had 0 touches. Technically, he had 1. It got called back with a flag. So, on the stat sheet, LeGarrette Blount had 0 carries. What? What did we sign this guy for? That doesn't even make sense. I think Doug Peterson is making a statement like, hey, this is my offense. This is how I'm going to run it. To Howie Roseman. He's making some sort of statement that I'm not going to plug guys in that I don't think will work. But that's Bush League. That's not how it should go. If LeGarrette Blount doesn't have at least, this is minimum, 7 carries against the Giants. I mean, that's a problem. This guy ran for 1,000 yards pretty much last year with the New England Patriots, and I understand that's a whole different situation over there. But the running game is a huge part of football. It opens up everything, and it pisses me off. It truly pisses me off. But we can go into a little fantasy, because I won this week in the big league. I got smacked in the school league. We were 0-2, tough start. But Odell being questionable for the game helped me out, because who I was playing put him on his bench, and then he found out he was playing Monday morning. But I would have won anyway. So we're 1-1. There are some 0-2 teams out there. So that butt slide on the ice is looking pretty good right now. We just got to win some games. And the guy I'm playing next week, or this upcoming week, is the guy that never changes his roster or anything. So we need to have a big win. There's always that one guy in each league. This is him for me. So if I lose this one, that's tough. And I remember last week, speaking of fantasy, shout out to Dustin Moyer. We're sitting in history class. He goes, man, I really don't know what to do. I want to put Mike Evans in, because that was his first pick. But since they didn't play week 1, he was on his bench. Now he's trying to put him in for week 2. He goes, man, I'm really trying to fit Mike Evans in, but I can't find out where to put him. I'm like, you got to take Jordy Nelson out. He's like, nah, man, all the experts have him. He's going to be the best receiver this week. I said, screw the experts. Like, what is a fantasy football expert? I know football, so can I be an expert? So he keeps him in, and he left Mike Evans in on the bench. Jordy Nelson gets hurt against the Giants. No, I'm sorry, the Falcons. Jordy Nelson gets hurt against the Falcons, doesn't play. Mike Evans gets way more points. He got a touchdown. And he texts me and goes, I'm an idiot. I said, yeah, the experts really got you on that one. Now, I know you can't say the experts knew he was going to get hurt or anything like that, but what is that? I mean, I know football. How much more football can it get? I know players. I know how they play. You know more about Jordy Nelson than me? I don't believe it. So that's where we are. 0-2 with the school league, which I'm looking at the trophy I made right now. We started the league last year. There's one name on it. It's like a Stanley Cup kind of thing, made out of interesting supplies. But we're just going to keep passing it down through the generations of the hockey squad. So where are we? I saw that Jalen Strong got cut from the Texans. Now, it's funny because as an Eagles fan, every time you hear a wide receiver getting cut, I want to pick him up. I feel like he's a young, solid talent. I saw something saying the Patriots are looking for him because everyone they got's going down. Everyone. And you could plug in a receiver like that for Tom Brady. You could plug anyone in with Tom Brady. But having a stud like that, was he doing that bad? I always think the Eagles should pick someone up. I'm not a huge fan right now of Torrey Smith. I have more faith in Aguilar than I do of Torrey Smith. Alshon Jeffrey looked great last week. I liked it. I loved it. We need a receiver to go up and get those 50-50 balls. Torrey Smith, I need to see a little bit more out of him. And speaking of the Eagles, Chris Long is donating his first 6 paychecks to education in Charlottesville. Wow. First 6 paychecks this year. Not even cashing them in. That's a hell of a man. That seriously is. That is awesome. That's the type of character that I like to see in our football locker room. That goes a long way when it comes to leadership and character for a team. I truly believe that. That's something that might go unnoticed for some people, but that shows a lot about somebody, and people respect that, and it goes a long way when it comes to leadership. It truly, truly does. Now it's just switching a little gears here. but I was watching a Phillies-Dodgers game last night. Now, Aaron Altherr hit a grand slam against Kershaw. First guy ever to do that, if I've read that statistic correctly. But how about this? Chase Utley got a standing ovation. I get it. His career is coming to an end. I kind of respect it to an extent. But how long has he been gone now? How long is the standing ovation going to go on for? Now, they play a 3-game series. We give him the standing ovation the first night. Now, new people go to the second game. Does he get a standing ovation? I mean, how long is it going to go on for? At some point, it's got to end. Now, I love the guy. He part of my childhood. Saw the World Series with him. Now, it's funny I bring this up. There is a Jerry Seinfeld Netflix stand-up comedy gig that just came out last night, and I watched it with my roommates, and he said one of the funniest things is sports teams are funny. Now, I might butcher this a little bit, hopefully not, but sports fans, they're just hilarious because players come and go and they're getting traded. You're really just rooting for your shirt. Like, oh, my shirt's better than your shirt. Because it doesn't really matter who's on the team anymore. Guys get flipped all around. It's like, oh, yeah, well, my shirt's better than yours. Because that's really all you guys care about. It was hilarious, though, the way he pitches it. It's so funny. Jerry Seinfeld, old-fashioned, one of the best in the game, though. Definitely check that out. Staying on the topic of baseball, though, we have teams starting to clinch. September 3rd, we get some playoffs. And I couldn't be any more excited. Houston Astros clinch the division. Washington Nationals clinch the division. The Dodgers. And that's where we're at. Cleveland. I'm sorry, I did not mention Cleveland. So we have Cleveland, Houston, Washington, and the Dodgers as of now. You got the Milwaukee Brewers who just will not go away. And they're playing the Chicago Cubs in an upcoming series, which is a battle for the Central. Every time I end up talking about baseball, where we're at, it's that NL Central. That's really up for the grabs. You got the Yankees hanging around the Red Sox, but I've been saying this for a long time now. I truly think the Red Sox are going to win this division. Now, the Yankees are only 3 games back, but they're looking fine in the wild card. The Angels are making that push for the AL wild card spot with only 1.5 games back. And Milwaukee's only 1 game back from Colorado. These wild card races are so exciting right now. It's getting to the point where baseball on ESPN is on every night, and it's so fascinating because every game matters. It's really coming down the stretch. We are getting here, and I can't wait. A couple of my teammates went to the Orioles game last night, and it just kills me because maybe a month ago, wow, did I just say we? I just said we for the Orioles. Come on. I got the Phillies logo tattooed on me. I can't be saying we for the Orioles. That's so disrespectful. Let me take that back. Let me start over. A couple of my teammates went to the Orioles game last night, and it's a shame because the Orioles were like 4 or 5 games back, kind of still hanging in the race, and they are just long gone now. They're 6 games back, but they're not in that play. The number of games back doesn't show the way that their team has been playing. Fans are not happy, according to Baltimore Sports Radio on my ride to class. Don't even get me started with that. It's cool and different sometimes to tune in, but it is not the same as Philly Sports Radio at all. At all. It's so different. There's not the same passion involved. There's only one good station, and it's not even that good. I mean, I got to play around with 1,300 FM or AM station, and it's not. I don't even know what it is or who they cover. And some of the people on there, I actually think I can do 100% better than them. They're just boring, and there's just no passion in it. And I'm thinking, what is this? It's pretty pathetic. Then I switch to the other one, and since there's only one, technically like Baltimore station or whatever, it just plays all the games. So like in Philly, you got the Eagles on WIP, and then you have the Sixers Flyers on 97.5, so it kind of splits it up throughout the night, but like there's never like not a game on. So I'm always sitting there. I don't want to listen to the Orioles lose 6-1 to the Toronto Blue Jays. I just don't want to listen to it. So then I got to switch over to the crappy AM station, and it's brutal. So that's why I have the 97.5 app on my phone. I haven't been able to listen as much as I wanted to. I listened all day long at work because 7 to 3:30 I made deliveries and all that during the summer. I listened to Ant Gargano every single morning along with Mikey Miss in the afternoon. I don't get that anymore. I rarely get to find time. Last year when I was typing my papers, all my homework, I would listen. I'd put it on the podcast. I would truly listen like all day. And I would listen to the podcast archives. Now I'm lucky if I snag 20 minutes after my workout when I'm in between classes. But I got my pictures hanging up of them when I saw them at Fantasy Fest for inspiration on my Sports Talk with Brodes desk in my room. Don't know how we got sidetracked into there, but there you go. Just figured I'd throw it out there. Because Baltimore Sports Radio needs some help. So if you're looking for help, call me. Or email me at sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. So yeah, I'm just truly excited for this MLB playoff to start. Every team is so solid. I can't just look at some of these teams that are leading the division right now and say like, wow, that team's going to win. Wow, that team's going to win. At one point I thought it was the Dodgers. Then they go on an 11-game losing streak like the Dodgers would. And now it's back to like, wow, like the Nats could win. Right? Like, why couldn't the Nats beat the Dodgers? They can. Or the Cubs. They can. And on the AL side, Cleveland versus Houston. I mean, come on. It's a total toss-up in these series. However you would say that. But no, it's going to be, I truly think, one of the best playoffs in the last 5 years. It's hard to say that with like something with the Cubs who just won in the first time in over 100 years. So that's a little ridiculous. But when it comes to quality of teams that are in the playoffs, it's going to be great. And the NHL, I mean, we're ready. We got preseason hockey. Preseason hockey's back. It's going to be so great. See, something great about that is with the NHL Game Center package, you just got every game. You just toss the games on. I'll be crushing some NHL knowledge out here for the boys. I know it's not the most popular, but we will toss out some NHL knowledge. There's fans out there. I know there are. Now I'm going to switch things up a little bit. This isn't this or that, if you will, but it's just a couple questions that I saw online that I thought would be pretty interesting to incorporate into the show. So it's just some random sports questions, and it's kind of all over the place, but we'll kick some off. I think it'll be interesting to talk about. The first one is, what is one sports venue you would like to visit before you die? It's hard not to say to go to a game at Wrigley Field. For some reason, that's what pops up into my head. Or something like going to a Green Bay Packers game in Lambeau Field. I think I would choose the Cubs over that. Something about Wrigley Field just has a lot of beautiness to it. Now, I'm thinking right now, though. Like, I'm going around the NHL. If I'm going around the NHL, there's no hockey rink that is, oh, wow, I really want to go there. Nah, not really. Baseball has its perks because each ballpark is different and unique in its own way. And something like Wrigley Field, I mean, there's nothing like it. And when it comes to football, I guess Soldier Field has some, what's the word I'm looking for? A beautiness to it, but Lambeau is the one that truly sticks out of all of them. And what's the other sport I'm thinking of? Basketball? Yeah, same thing. I mean, LeBron James in the NBA Finals in Game 7 or something would be cool. But if you're talking just strictly the arena that you would love to go to, It's got to be Wrigley Field in like a playoff game. You can't turn that down. That would be such an amazing, amazing experience. This one says, how many titles will LeBron James wins before he retires? That is something I could really go off on. And I don't know if I'm ready for it. I wasn't going to use this one, but now I'm nervous because I already read it. I'm thinking 4. I know, I wish it was more than that. I do, but something like the Warriors right now is not going to be beat with the team he's got going on in Cleveland. It's just not. It's not powerful enough. It sucks to admit it, but it's not powerful enough. The firepower in Golden State is too ridiculous. Now, this brings me up on what KD is doing right now. Apparently, he made up a Twitter, tweeted at himself. I don't know the whole story. Something ridiculous like that. And he was just tweeting with himself on a separate account. And he was calling out the coach of the Thunder. I don't know what the full story is. But all I know is he cannot handle being the villain. He is a villain. Since day one of leaving Oklahoma City Thunder, the dude is a villain. And he doesn't know how to handle it because he's the nice guy. He's the guy everybody likes. He's a good person when it comes down to it. But he thought winning that ring would tell all the haters and make them drop and tell them, like, hey, listen, I did it. But it didn't. It really only made it worse. And now he's like a snake and all that. And he just can't handle it. And someone like LeBron, the GOAT, in my opinion, he's been facing that since day one of high school. Has he not? There's been LeBron James haters since day one. And he just handles it. That's what you have to do when you're up there. You got to handle the haters. And he just can't. He just can't handle it. Too much of a nice guy, if you will. Moving on to another question. Would you rather watch a big game at home or at a sports bar? Now, here is my opinion on the sports bar situation. If it's a huge game, say the Flyers are in the playoffs. I don't know why that came to my mind, because that hasn't happened. Actually, it has against the Caps, and we put up a good fight 2 years ago, lost in 6 when we were the 8th seed. But moving along on the question. If it's a big game, Flyers are in the playoffs, and you're at a sports bar, and the bar is showing the game on every TV for the most part, and the sound is on. So you're hearing the commentating going on at this bar, and everyone's involved into the game. I think that's a really cool atmosphere for it. For example, Xfinity Live for anyone around Philadelphia area. Big games on, Eagles game on, you hear the commentating. When you go to a bar and it's like music being played, but the TV has it on, I hate that. I hate it. At the same time, I love being engaged in my own sitting. So my man cave I have planned out, I'm going to have a 72-inch curved television. Next to that, like a 50-inch and then maybe a 30-inch on the other side. So I got big Eagles game, but hey, the Phillies are on. And, or I don't know, whatever. U.S. Open. I don't want to miss it. I don't want to be flipping. Bam, bam, bam. TVs. But I want, when it comes to like a big game, national championship, college football game, I just want, I like both. I like both. Being in my own environment, though, being able to have my IPA in front of me in my man cave with the big TV, put the volume on to my preference. I feel like that's my answer, although I do love going to the bar if the game is the main purpose of everyone being at the bar, if that makes sense. Because I go to some places and like music's on, Cher's on. Why is Cher on while the Eagles game's on? That's ridiculous. Makes no sense. Makes no sense. Here we go. Looking for another question. Some of these are interesting. I'm sorry. I have to keep clearing my throat. It's been a tough morning for some reason. I haven't felt like this in a while. You get 10 shots from the NBA three-point line. How many am I making? See, I am more of a defender, take a charge from LeBron, spark up the boys, come off the bench kind of guy. I am a facilitator. I like to give guys open shots. If you guys remember Aaron Kraft from Ohio State, that's a throwback name. That's the kind of playing style. That's the kind of grit I play with. Not a big shot maker. But you give me 10, I'm hitting 2, 3. That's realistic. Hey, I'm a hockey player who plays open basketball in the gym and hustle and work hard. Never played legitimately on a basketball squad. But I have 2 pairs of LeBrons in my closet, ready to go when anybody wants to play. I got the swag, too. Shooting arm, shooting sleeve. Oh, I'll be out there. I'll never turn it down. So I just thought that would be a cool thing to implement here into Sports Talk with Brodes. Not so much this or that, but just some casual questions along the sports board. But we're going to give a little recap here on what we have upcoming this weekend for some football. We got some good games. Thursday night, there's actually a good college football game on. USF, which is ranked 21st, plays Temple. I like watching Temple. Nice little Philly squad. Let's see what some of the big games are. You got TCU, Oklahoma State, 16 versus 6. Clemson plays Boston College. They're going to smack them. Michigan, Purdue. The way Purdue is playing, do not be surprised. And they're home. That is my upset of the week right there. Purdue is playing very solid. Seriously, watch out for that one. I am telling you. Mississippi State plays Georgia, 17 versus 11. Nothing that crazy, though. There's not that big 2 versus 6 matchup this week. I guess our best one is 16 versus 6, the TCU Oklahoma State game. But still, it's going to be a great day of football. There's no such thing as a bad day of football, am I right? Now moving into the NFL. Before we wrap this episode up. 1 o'clock at the Lincoln Financial Field. We have the Birds and the Giants. I can't wait. I can't wait. I said this before, but I can't believe the season's already flying by. We were talking about Week 3 football already. After this, we'll be talking about Week 4 NFL football. It flies by. June to August takes forever with preseason and all that, and now here we are, and the weeks just fly by. It sucks. Buccaneers, Vikings. That's a good game. I wonder how Jameis Winston is going to hold up against a defense like Minnesota. I will definitely be tuning into that game. But, of course, I tune into all of them, and I have the double TV Red Zone Eagles action at 1 o'clock. My favorite is when the Eagles play at 8:30, so I can crush Red Zone from 1 o'clock to 7:30, and then watch the Eagles, and I can actually invest in the 1 o'clock games on Red Zone, because lately the Eagles have been playing at 1 o'clock every game, so I haven't been able to fully invest in that 1 o'clock hour of football, because the TV's on mute while the Birds game is on. But we'll be getting there. The Packers play the Bengals. The Bengals might be going 0-3. They're going to Lambeau. Their coach even said it might be time to switch things up. I don't think the team is going to stay with this head coach. I think it's like a mutual thing, of course. I don't know if it's going to happen soon to come. I think they gave it as much time as they possibly could, but it's not looking great for the Bengals at all. The Seahawks play the Titans. The Seahawks offense looks terrible. They can't put up any points on the board. I have Jimmy Graham. I'm about to trade him. He gets no points. He's the worst tight end ever, I swear to God. Do they use him? I feel like they don't even ever target him. How can he not target someone like that? He used to be a beast. It pisses me off. The 8:30 game, Redskin Raiders. That'll be an interesting game. Kirk Cousins is a good quarterback. He normally takes a couple weeks to get going, though. He needs a couple weeks to, I guess, get in the flow of the season, and then he starts just taking off. I don't think they're better than the Eagles, though, in the division. And then the Monday night game is Cardinals-Cowboys. I still firmly believe the Cardinals are the most overrated football team. I don't understand how they get all this praise. I really don't. I do not see it. So that's the recap of the football weekend coming up. I will be back with another episode to talk about all of this. I forgot to mention the Thursday night game that I did last episode. Rams versus Niners. Garbage, but I'll still watch it. But like I said, next episode I will break down these games, talk a little bit more sports, why not, and just keep grinding and making more episodes. So thank you everyone for listening. Like I said, we reached 700 downloads. This is the 20th episode milestone. You can follow me on Twitter at sportsandbrodes. You can call into the show using your voice recording app and sending it to sportsandbrodes@gmail.com. Thank you so much. See you guys next time.